Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Joe, and welcome back to another episode of the Inside Our Phillies podcast. Phillies are coming off a series loss to the Los Angeles Angels, formerly the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, formerly the Anaheim Angels, formerly the California Angels. And I'm here today with sjphilsphan. How's it going, SJ?
I hate this team.
Frustrating series. This is not the way that you wanted to, come out in a home series, coming off the break. Not great. 6-5 loss that they took on Friday. Saturday, they won 9-5, and they lost 8-2 today. So, just kind of a lot of runs that they allowed throughout this series. But let's start positive, SJ, and let's talk about Bryce Harper.
He's back.
He's back. 5 for 12, 3 home runs, 6 ribbies, an OPS plus or OPS of 1,795 across this series. What did you think about watching Bryce Harper?
Baby, Daddy's back. Daddy's back, Joe.
That power, I'm not going to lie, I kind of thought that power was gone. I thought it was gone.
No, was it the first home run or the second home run where it's like up at his head and he hit it out? That was nuts. I saw it on game day. I had to watch the replay like a little bit after, but I was just like, is this a mistake on game day? There was the replay. No, he got hit, like the swing of it. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
that was amazing. Hanging
breaking ball. So it looked like it was, even higher, and it kind of dropped down. It was still like, 8 inches above the zone. But I mean, what a piece of hitting. Like, just to see like vintage Bryce Harper like that again. I mean, it makes me more optimistic about the rest of the season when we have Bryce Harper being Bryce Harper in the middle of this order.
Yeah. Okay. Harper's OPS at the beginning of the series was 825. That was at the All-Star break. What is it now?
842.
Nope, 869.
Holy Christ.
That's after going 0 for 4 today.
That is something else. And that's the thing, like, it looked like he was working pretty good at bats, too. Like, he was going deep into counts, he was waiting for his pitch, we weren't just seeing him behind the fastball like he can be from time to time. I mean, this was, like, just really, really, really a pleasure to see.
No, it's just Bryce Harper, when he's on, is just... Judge is, like, the only comparable, but it's just amazing. Harper kept pedestrian numbers. It just seems like you're complaining about him when he get hot, and then like after like 10 games, his OPS is back over 850. And what are we worried about?
It's funny because he does this like every single year. When all of a sudden you look up and his stats are just rocketing up, and I hope that we're in the beginning of a stretch like that right now.
Yeah, Harper is simultaneously overrated and underrated at the same time. It is quite amazing.
Perplexing. What I'm curious about, he's now at 349 career home runs, so he'll get to 350, hopefully sometime coming up in the next series. How many home runs do you think Bryce Harper ends his career with? Obviously, after this year, he's got 6 years left on his contract here in Philadelphia. Where does he end his home run count at?
I mean, the optimist to me wants to be like, oh yeah, like 550 or something, but it really depends. Like, he's got the elbow and back; those don't get better as you age.
Yeah,
so I'm really hoping. I'm gonna worst case scenario. I'm gonna say 480. Best case scenario, I'm thinking 550 is gonna patch Schmidt.
Yeah, I think that any of that could be possible. I have him at 492. Ending his career. That's where I'm at.
So I'm gonna so that's I would say that's the realistic estimate. But if his injuries aren't ever debilitating, I could see him playing until he gets 500.
Well, if it wasn't for the injuries the last couple of years, and it wasn't for the 60-game 2020 season, we're probably looking at a Bryce Harper that might hit 600.
Yeah, no, he would. He's missing about 100 maybe 110, I would guess, based on it, if he had played every game in a normal season.
Right. And that year in Washington, where he was hurt for the majority of it early in his career, probably missed a good bit there, too.
Yeah, no, I feel baseball is one of the best sports when it comes to like the what ifs. You can like extrapolate like, oh man, they would have done this if they
Yeah,
kept. Yeah,
absolutely. And
yeah,
the other guy that had a great series is Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, he hit 2 home runs in this series, 5 ribbies. He had a couple walks, 6 strikeouts, so a very typical 3 true outcome guy, Kyle Schwarber. He was struggling a little bit there in June, very un-Kyle Schwarber-y of him. But are you thinking that this is going to just be the way Kyle Schwarber is for the rest of the year?
yeah. The dude is a slugger. Sluggers are notorious for going into the slumps that he's in. The good news is when he's in a slump, he still walks. You may get frustrated with the strikeouts, whatnot, but he's not gonna kill you like Castellanos or Stott or any other or Flap.
He works the count, right? He takes
Yeah.
walks. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's just I know that he homered the first pitch at the All-Star break. So technically, going back to the swing off, he had 4 straight home run swings, which was just nuts.
The swing off, I hope that never comes to Major League Baseball. I hope that never goes to minor league baseball. What do you think about the swing off?
Okay, this is so my opinion on the Ghost Runner is it's fine for regular season, but it needs to be after the 13th inning. So I could if you want to do the swing up after a 20 inning game in a regular season, go for it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It'll never happen that a game goes that long these days, but
yeah, I know. But my thing is, I hate it. Everything like I understand the regular season. You want like you don't want the injuries and stuff because like hockey. Hockey has the shootout after overtime in the regular season, and then they have a limited overtime in the playoffs. So that's what it is for baseball right now.
Hockey fans hate the shootout, though. They want 3-on-3 to last like 10 minutes instead of the 5 minutes that it is right now. Because, 3-on-3 overtime hockey, for those that are not familiar with hockey, pretty awesome. I
know, but I remember when the shootout first came out, everyone loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember everyone had like shootout mode. They were playing on the NHL games and everything like that. That was always super fun. But the big question I have Kyle Schwarber-wise, just to center us back, is what do you think a Kyle Schwarber contract looks like? Because it seems like the Phillies are going to have the opportunity to match a contract that he's given in free agency. So what kind of contract do you think Kyle gets given in free agency this year?
3 years, 120.
3 years, 120. Would you sign that deal?
Yes, not my money.
It's true that it's not our money. I feel like the fans still have to pay for it, whether that be higher ticket prices, whether that be more ads in the stadium.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. I have a whole rant about the intensification of Citizens Bank.
I think we will share that opinion. 40 a year feels like a lot to me for Kyle Schwarber. I'd go 300. I'm worried about giving him more than 3 years, and maybe we will, and maybe it'll end up fine. But like a 4 or 5 year deal to Kyle Schwarber to me feels a little bit like you're playing for fire, especially because I think there's a lot of value in having the DH not just be a set position, and you can kind of rotate guys through to keep them fresh.
I agree. That's why 3 years, pay him in a lot of upfront money, make it work, and then just get rid of Castellanos. I'm going to keep repeating that.
Well, we'll see. Castellanos was on that list of possible players to get traded, and I don't know if I expect it, but we'll get into the outfield now. Talk about Max Kepler. Can it just finally end this series 0 for 10? No hits for Max Kepler. He did draw 1 walk to his credit, so that'll help out the OBP a little bit. But the big thing that really stands out to me is just these at-bats. It feels like every single one, more or less, is 1 pitch or 2 pitch at-bat.
Yeah, the dude is a mess. He hasn't had a hit since July 9th.
Not ideal.
1, 2, 3, 4 games, and that's okay. Quick math. 5. 13. Yeah, he's 0 for 13. At least 0 for 13. I don't remember when he got that bat in that game before that. Yeah, he is bad. He is slugging 290 in July, down from 311 in June, down from 375 in May, and down from 357 in April. But hey, in the 3 games in March, he slugged 818. So he has been a disaster. This is ridiculous. He's batted, oh my God, yeah, he's batted 188 in May, 162 in June, 194 in July. Why are we playing him? Why is he on the team?
I don't think it's going to be much longer. I didn't think he'd be on the team right now, to be fair. I did think he was going to be gone over the All-Star break. But
I called it. I told you it was going to be at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way this goes another, 11 days, and there's no way that come August 1st, he's still on this team, right?
No, in the past 10 years, the Phillies' MO has been July and the trade deadline for getting rid of trash.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, last year was the rare thing with Whit Merrifield. I was shocked he was at the All-Star break, but that was also because of London too. But that's why. But usually it's June and end of July. That's when we always drop the trash. For some reason, they're afraid to make the bold moves earlier. I don't understand it.
Yep, that's when we had Jerry Familia, Dubal Herrera, all these guys just don't last on the team past July, and it seems like the expiration date for Max Kepler on the Phillies is quickly coming to an end. But the next thing that I want to talk about here is the starting pitching. The Phillies allowed a lot of runs this series, and I think Luzardo and Ranger come out of it kind of not looking all that great. Luzardo got through 4 2/3, 7 strikeouts, which, not too bad, but all 4 of the runs that he allowed were earned. So once again, you're not getting length out of Jesus Luzardo, and once again, he's allowing a lot of runs. Where are you at on Jesus?
This is the pitcher I expected throughout the year. He's going to be hot and cold. He's always been a hot and cold pitcher. It's just, you got to hope he has it on for the day.
It's been more cold than hot recently, though, and that's what's concerning me. Like, I know that the way he was in April and May, I know it wasn't going to last forever. I knew that at the time, but it feels like 2 out of 3 starts he has now are bad, and it concerns me that immediately after the All-Star break, and he has quite a bit more rest than he would normally have, he's still looking like he was prior to the break in the first place.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the past. He's in his second career high of innings, so even with that break, he could have some fatigue. Maybe we do move him to bullpen sooner rather than later if this continues, which I wouldn't be opposed to. His fastball out of the bullpen right now would be very much appreciated from a lefty.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we've learned this year is just how underappreciated Aaron Nola is, just as being a stable force in the rotation. Because even when Aaron Nola is not at his best, traditionally he's pitching every 5th day. He's not going to be a complete disaster. He'll have his good years, bad years, but he's going to be a consistent 6 innings every 5 days. And I think the Phillies are feeling the effect of not having him in the rotation.
Yeah, no, I miss Nola.
I do too. And the other starting pitcher that I think maybe not as concerned about is Ranger Suarez. He went 4 1/3 today. He allowed 4 walks, very un-Ranger Suarez-y, and 6 earned runs. Do you think this is just like a little blip on the radar for Ranger, or do you think this is kind of the deterioration that we see late in the season for him every single season?
Yeah, the pessimist Philly fan to me says this is just the usual Ranger Suarez second half fade, but to a little bit of positive, if we had ABS, he gets out of that inning with only 1 run.
Yeah. No, that was not great umpiring. And the listeners know how I feel about umpires, and I think it all balances out over the long run. But you're right. That was a call that had a big impact on the game. And while I'm not upset at the call, I am fully aware and cognizant of how much it changed the game.
Yeah, I mean that was right on the line. It's you can't, again, you don't want to put your hand in the hands of the umpire. You shouldn't be walking in around the bases loaded. So it shouldn't have been a 3-ball count to begin with. Shouldn't have been bases loaded. But it would have been nice if the umpire would have called that a strike like it actually was.
It was the command that was really off for him today. That changeup, he couldn't get a grip of at all, it seemed like. It honestly didn't even really look like a changeup. It looked more like a breaking ball. And the velocity, Ranger Suarez has never been a guy that relies on velocity, and he did consistently enough hit 90 today. But I feel like I'm always watching Ranger Suarez like stressed. Like, can we please get 91, 92 out of him instead of like 89, 90? Because I feel like there's a pretty big difference there.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. We need Nola back. We need to be able to shuffle things around. Like, I don't know, maybe Phantom IL stint some guys. Maybe put Ranger back in the bullpen, but Boris will never agree to that because he's a free agent.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So we kind of sandwiched the games. We talked a lot about Friday and Sunday. So let's get into Saturday a little bit. I know this is a game that I missed the vast majority of because I was in Lehigh Valley. But I did catch this base running situation. Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, seemingly having no idea what they're doing on the base paths. I mean, do you have any feelings on that, SJ?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. That was just terrible, and it's just this happens. I feel like every 10 games or so. I'm just picking random stick in my head, but we have so many for this many star players on our team that you should not be making these basic base running mistakes. First of all, Turner should not have run on that. He should have taken the Harper make out. It's second and third, one out. But the fact, but I don't blame Turner for being aggressive, running on contact. But in that situation, Schwarber has to make a decision there. He got caught in got caught in a rundown at the same time Turner did. How does that happen? I do not know. Either Schwarber stays on second or he runs to third, which allows Harper to go to second while Turner's in the rundown. So Turner screwed up, but I think that play is mostly on Schwarber for doing who knows what the hell he was doing, going from second and third, just standing there for a while watching Turner's in the rundown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much totally with you there. Just going by the run expectancy matrix, when you have runners on second and third and nobody out like the Phillies did, on average, teams score about 2 runs there, 1.96 to be exact. And then all of a sudden you go to a situation where the bases are empty and there's 2 outs and you're averaging 1/10 of a run in that situation. So there's almost a 2-run swing on average just from that bad base running play.
Yeah, but the sad thing is I'm not surprised that it happened. We've seen so many times. Like, I've never seen a team get thrown out going to first to second so many times in the past couple of years that are not young. That are not a young team.
The surprising thing is, like, I feel like we haven't had the patented Bryce Harper tries to take an extra base since he got back and gets thrown out at second. Like, the base running has been this bad, despite Bryce Harper not really doing his typical bad base running thing.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's on the coaching or not. I mean, we know from that quote from Marsh that this coaching doesn't seem to work on anything with this team. Okay, he stated that there have been any team meetings suggesting they need to change their approach. This is regarding to the plate. There's a correlation to it, I know, Marsh said. The teams that chase a lot and have a lot of strikeouts also probably the league in homers. But I don't necessarily remember us having a meeting or sit down of like, stop chasing. Maybe just like, we need to put the better at bats together, pass the baton, stuff like that. Nothing in particular. So if that's just the hitting, which is very important, and they don't seem to be talking about the issue that we don't have any power this year, and just so I can't imagine what we don't talk about before. So I am losing a lot of faith in this coaching staff.
What is Kevin Long doing?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're coming more on my side. I love it. Yeah, what is Kevin?
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, no team meeting. We get 1 run against the Astros. There was no team meeting on fixing the approach that we have against pitchers, or what is going on?
I wish I could give you an answer, but unfortunately, I cannot. I think we're both lower on the coaching staff than most people are. I mean, I think everybody feels kind of not great about Kevin Long, but even Rob Thompson, the buck stops with him at the end of the day. Like, this is his coaching staff, and this is his team. If his hitting coach isn't going to say anything about the team not hitting well, he's got to be the guy to do it.
Yeah, and just Thompson's a very mellow, low-energy guy, and it seems, unfortunately, that has affected the team in a bad way. Caught up all this time. It was after Girardi, it seemed like it was a fresh breath of air. Girardi was a little bit of a pain in the butt. And then Thompson was just like, yo, chill guy, a friend, all that. But he doesn't seem to know how to motivate these guys.
At the end of the day, Thompson was Girardi's bench coach. And when managers are hiring their bench coach, they just want the mini version of them, right? So at the end of the day, Rob Thompson might be more of a player's guy. He might communicate more than Joe Girardi did. But you can see the commonalities between Thompson and Girardi, and you've been able to see it the whole time, and I think they're really coming out now.
Yeah, but he'd also been working. He had been the first base coach under Torre for a couple of years.
Right.
So, but yeah, he had been the bench coach in 08, and then came with he stayed with the Yankees until we hired him. So yeah, it was only a couple years in between when he wasn't. So yeah, most of his behind the bench stuff has been under Girardi. So
it's a Girardi guy.
Yeah.
The one other note that I had from this series is the starting pitcher who made the best start of the weekend, Taijuan Walker. It's already been announced that Taijuan Walker is going to remain in the rotation for at least one more turn through. He's projected to start not in this upcoming series, but Friday against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Do you think Taijuan Walker deserves this opportunity?
No, not at all. His ERA just keeps climbing. This is just, his ERA looks good because it was impossible to continue his success he had in the beginning of the year.
Still at 3.75. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, ERA of 2.78 in April, 4.35 in May, 5.48 in June, and it's 3.38 in July. But he's only pitched 2 1/3, 4 and 4. He's not even giving us innings.
His FIP, to point that out, is closer to 4.57. So that does tell you he's probably getting pretty lucky. And really, the Phillies shouldn't be surprised at this at all. I mean, Taijuan Walker is not somebody that this team is counting on, but it's kind of a necessity. Would you rather have Mick Abel in there than Taijuan Walker?
Yes, I want a reason to be able to be excited to watch the game start.
Yeah, I watched Mick Abel last night in Lehigh Valley. He pitched 6 strong innings. I know that he is not perfect. Mick Abel's a flawed prospect, but I think he's better right now, and he's definitely, whether he gets traded or whether he sticks with the team, he's going to be a bigger part of the future of some organization more than Taijuan Walker is for the Phillies.
Yeah, but it's also just being about energy. We need energy on this team. They are boring. When they are losing, they pout. They have no energy. They don't know how to. They don't have resilience right now. And just getting the fans something to be excited about right now, just like, oh, Taijuan Walker's pitching. I don't really want to watch that game. I might put it on mute, have it in the background while I'm doing some other stuff. It's not fun to watch. And
right.
Abel would just give the team something to watch, something exciting. And he's just young, energetic, like bright eye. Just like maybe they need that spark. Maybe that could help. Who knows? All I know is I want youth in this team more than Taijuan Walker.
The Phillies know how to ride a high and how to keep, a big wave big, but they don't know how to create a wave. Like, they're just a team that likes to ride high, and that's about it. But talking about youth, the Phillies made a signing today for 40-year-old David Robertson. He was signed to a prorated $16 million contract that'll pay him about $6 million for the rest of the season. However, the Phillies have to pay the luxury tax on top of that, so they're actually going to be paying like $12 or so million for this. What's your take on David Robertson being a Philly for the 3rd time in his career?
God. I have a lot of thoughts on David Robertson. They're not mostly positive. His career walk rate over 16 years is 3.7. And the highest ever was the Phillies was Miami in 2023. It was 5.1 and 22 innings. And then with the Cubs, after we traded him, it was 4.2. No, before we traded for him, that's right. It was 4.2. His first time with us before he got Tommy John surgery after the year, whatever. That's in 7 games, 8.1. When we got him back for the World Series one, 6.2. I don't know if he has what it takes to pitch with the Phillies. He just cannot throw strikes with us. I know it's smaller sample size of committed, but it just stuck out to me. The moment he came over in the 22 trade, he was getting out of jams constantly. He could not throw strikes. And I'm just worried it's going to happen again. I was very pissed that they traded Ben Brown for him, who has struggled this year, but is a promising young pitcher. And I'm just worried he's 40 years old. I mean, I didn't see any reports on what his velocity is. I'm just worried he's going to get the continuous curse for being a Philly and not be able to throw strikes.
I'm a big fan of them signing him because it's just money. They're not giving up any prospects for this. And yes, they're probably paying more than they should. But David Robertson is improving the Phillies, and they're not having to give up any prospect capital to do it. He's probably going to take the spot of like a Lazar or a Ross or a Johnson or a maybe Romano. Whose spot do you think he's taking in the Phillies bullpen? He is not going to be on the 26-man right away. There's probably going to be some kind of clause in the deal where he is able to warm up in the minor leagues a little bit, but we expect him up, by the trade deadline to be part of the major league team. At that point, whose spot is he taking?
As long as it's Robert, Ross, Romano, I would change my tune on this. If it says Johnson, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be Ross. That's what I'm feeling. And I think David Robertson is going to be a high leverage guy for the Phillies, even though I think I'd probably rather see him in the middle innings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one reason why he chose the Phillies. There are a number of teams that are interested in him. I'm sure he saw our situation. It was like, if I'm going to come back, I'm 40 years old, and I'm going to make a push for this. I want to be in the limelight. If he wants to be like the 8th, 9th inning guy, I highly expect that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm scared to watch David Robertson innings, but I would much rather watch a David Robertson inning than a Joe Ross inning. So that is what I'm going to cling to. And if it doesn't work out, it's just money. Now, after the David Robertson deal, would you rather trade for pitching or would you rather trade for hitting if you had to pick just one of the two?
Hitting, I think. Even if when our stories are going well, that like if you lose 1-0, that's more frustrating than losing 7-6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that this offense, I know by the stats, according to the rest of the league, they're not a terrible offense, but it's just brutal to watch. This outfield, like you get just about nothing out of it. Aside from Castellanos, who has, an above average OPS plus, despite being a very frustrating watch defensively, on the base paths, and at the plate with the way he works at bats. This outfield has to get better, doesn't it? Like that has to be the number one priority.
Yeah, I think even just the trade targets in around the league. I don't know any like good infielders available.
I can name a couple. Arizona Diamondback Suarez, Suarez on the Diamondbacks. And then you also got Naylor on the Diamondbacks, first baseman. Both of those guys would probably involve putting Bryce Harper back into the outfield if you were to sign them, which would make your outfield better and make your team better in general.
Yeah, but those names don't excite me. Like the rumors of Steven Kwan, that's exciting.
Kwan would be nice. He would probably cost quite a bit, and I still have a hard time seeing the Guardians trading for him. But he would be electric to have leading off this team. Sitting in left field. We need a left fielder pretty badly. I would love Steven Kwan, but I think this team can get by in the playoffs with the bullpen because your middle relievers, the back of your bullpen, like they're not really going to be pitching many innings in the playoffs. Like, we've seen over the years how many pitchers they've been able to hide that they've had on their playoff roster. But you just need to have like 4 guys that you really trust. And, Strom's going to be one of those guys. Kirkering's going to be one of those guys. Robertson is probably going to be one of those guys.
Please.
So maybe I think you could say maybe he shouldn't be, but he will be. We both know that. So I think the Phillies probably are maybe looking at one bullpen addition that they'll still make. Then other than that, I hope that they're focusing entirely on improving this outfield.
Yeah, like I said, like Taijuan Walker famously didn't pitch it was 2023. He didn't pitch. Yeah, he didn't pitch at all. Pouted a bit and surprised still on the team after that. We can get about. Yeah, we famously made the runs with just Alvarado and Sir Anthony, and Eflin. 3 guys. So if we realistically, we would just need one guy, and honestly hope that Romano can stretch together like a few strong outings that he's been capable of showing the past couple on and off this year.
And the other thing is in the postseason, you're going to have a Luzardo or a Ranger in the bullpen because you don't need all that many starting pitchers in the postseason.
Yeah.
So I think that for the regular season, you could argue that the bullpen is more important to fix because we have seen like the lack of depth really hurting the team. But in the postseason, I don't think it actually matters all that much. And that's why I'm totally with you on the hitting being more important. The other big news about the hitting on this team is news that I kind of broke for those of us in the Discord server or the Reddit server. I heard early that Weston Wilson was scratched from the lineup before anybody else knew in Lehigh Valley. And immediately I was like, I know what's going on. Bohm's going to the injured list and Weston Wilson's probably on a car right now to Philadelphia. And I was right, which was like the craziest feeling and like an addictive feeling, truthfully, to actually be able to break some news. But Alec Bohm's headed to the injured list. Looks like it said that it'll be like 3 or 4 weeks right now. Do you think that this turns third base into any position of need for the team? And do you think that this really will change the complexion of the team very much?
No, just again, like besides, I guess, Flores, there is no third baseman. Red Sox are really hot. They're not going to trade Bregman. I'm excited what this looks like for Otto Kemp. He is hitting very well this month, and he homered today, which is opposite way, which is a great sign. So his OPS is it is 715. So 2 for 4 today, 267-15. I'm excited what he can do. I think he's starting to definitely get more adjusted to the major leagues. He's struggled a bit off, but he's already had a couple 4-hit game. Oh no, get total bases. He's had a couple 4-hit game, and then a couple hit games. Okay, I'm overselling him, but I'm excited. I love his story. I want to see him succeed. So I'm excited to see him play third base because as much as they said, oh, he's gonna play left field, they weren't playing him for whatever ridiculous reason. They were just playing Kepler.
Third base is considered to be his quote unquote natural position, position he's the best at. So it'll be nice to see him there. You also figure Edmundo Sosa, who's a favorite of mine and of many. He'll probably end up with some more playing time here as well. And also, maybe Stott has his playing time reduced in some way. Like, Stott is continuing to struggle. Maybe Sosa slots in more at second base. Like,
That's what I would do.
I'm really losing faith in Bryson Stott right now. Coming out super cold after the All-Star break. It's only been a few games, but if this continues for another, week, 10 days into the trade deadline, like, second base is really not a position that should be set on this team.
No, I agree. And my dad always likes to point out, no matter where Stott bats, even when they put him in the order, he somehow always comes up in a big spot and doesn't come through. And that's the bigger issue with him struggling, is where it's so obvious because it's always happening when the runner's in scoring position. He's just not coming through, and so it just brings the center, the focus on him, his offense. It's just, you can't hide it. He's unfortunately making it aware to everyone.
Right. And how crazy was it that we had him lead off for like a month there? Like, it's just actually
it was working
insane.
for a bit. It was working for a little bit. And so
it was never going to work long term. Like, this is Bryson Stott offensively. We know who he is.
I know, but I hope he was going to break through. But yeah, I'm falling off the Stott train. He is very frustrating to watch.
Absolutely.
Like he's like a step above Castellanos and Kepler right now, just because it's just I don't know what you do with him. I mean, honestly, they should just option him for like a couple weeks and just play Sosa a second. Just
see what happens, right?
Yeah, like they need to do drastic things with this clubhouse and team, and they're not doing anything. So, and it's gonna be very curious to see what's gonna happen if they don't make any big move at the trade deadline. Like 3 years in a row, no big trade. That is nuts for a contending team. I've never seen a team be contending this long and not make a giant trade like that.
Does this team deserve to have a big trade made for them, though? That's the question I have at this point.
I mean, just like we talked about it before, our past prospect pedigree that we traded hasn't really turned into anything. So if we get a
Good point.
surefire thing with control, I want guys with control for once. So if we get a Clase and Quan, those are 2+ years control of both of them.
Yeah, that's a lot different than just getting a rental, right? And probably would cost more, but you're also getting more out of it.
Yeah, but like imagine in 2022, we used Ben Brown for a better package. Like we used him for David Robertson. Why?
Well, they needed a bullpen piece in 22, and David Robertson did save a game in the World Series, but no, I get your point.
Yeah. No, it's like I knew at the time of the trade that I knew that was overpay, and it's just bizarre how we're trading these highly regarded prospects for rentals. We're not getting anything with moral control. That's the I like if we traded for Robertson and immediately signed for like a 1-year extension back then, that would have been a totally different story. But we didn't. I don't understand their thought process of trading these decent prospects for rentals and just saying, oh, whatever.
I feel like you never really see that in baseball, which is weird because it's like a pretty common thing in other sports like hockey to trade for a guy and immediately have an extension attached to the trade. And like, I wish you saw that more in baseball because it would really make a lot of sense. But I guess these players just don't want to negotiate. Like the players' union in baseball is quite a bit stronger than other sports.
Yeah, I mean they have guaranteed contracts, which is great for them. So yeah, the free agent MLB free agents definitely have more leverage than other sports.
Yes, to say the least. And this is going to be a pretty weak free agent class coming up, so scares me a little bit with the Schwarber thing because there's almost no offensive talent behind him and Kyle Tucker in the offseason this year.
I mean, Bregman could opt out.
Bregman could opt out. That's a good point. If it does, the Phillies should be all over that. But that is a story for another day. Looking ahead to the series against the Red Sox, we have a couple of interesting pitching matchups. 3 right-handed hitters or right-handed pitchers. None of them are going to blow your socks off. We got Walker Buehler, who is carrying a 6.12 ERA this year, going against Zach Wheeler tomorrow night. We have Richard Fitz against Christopher Sanchez on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, which is a national game on ESPN. For some reason, I feel like a Wednesday ESPN exclusive is kind of weird. We have Lucas Giolito, who's been okay this year, actually. 3.59 ERA against Jesus Luzardo. So, you got to take 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox, right? With the Buehler, Wheeler, and Fitz Sanchez pitching matchups, right?
Yep. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, but I don't know. I'm worried that we're going to somehow lose the Wheeler game by not scoring, and then we're going to win this 2 and 3. I forgot what it. I forgot that where I think it was during the Padres game, the broadcast show. Like we have one of the worst records in a series, the closing game of a series. So it's just we can't sweep. We're very bad at sweeping.
I could see that happening here, but you're right that this offense being so poor is a wild card because you just never truly know when this offense is gonna lay an egg and just not score at all. For multiple nights in a row, and that could always hurt the team. But one more thing I wanted to get to before this podcast concludes is I just wanted to talk a little bit about Lehigh Valley, my trip there. For those of you who haven't listened, I'm guessing most of you have, but the full interview I did with Garrett Stubbs is available on this podcast feed. It'll be the podcast right before this, and I definitely suggest you listen to it. I will also have a story out on r/Phillies. Probably by the time that this podcast is live, that story will be posted because I had the chance to really hang out. I spent 90 minutes pretty much around the whole team in the locker room, on the field. Some of these prospects, some of these guys in Lehigh Valley, they're awesome. And I had a really great time with them and getting to know a little bit more about the Justin Crawfords and Gabriel Rincones and Cal Stevenson, who's not a prospect. But still, there was so many cool things that I got to experience in Lehigh Valley. And the good news is they said I'd be welcome back anytime there. And, if I want to go to another affiliate, they'll vouch for me and then they'll, do what they can to get me access to another affiliate too. So if you guys want me to continue doing this kind of on the field, quote unquote journalism, let me know. And I'd be all about it. We got to get USJ to, do the same thing. I think that would be cool.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'll fly out. Are you kidding me? I'll do that in a second. But yeah, if you want to see more of this kind of content, please like and subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that I think we're both really excited to hopefully explore more in the future, and I'm glad to have all you listening here with us. So anything else that you have, SJ, before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited. Like, let's talk about that. Like, the big thing is if we get access during spring training and talk to all the prospects, that will be the fun thing. That's the best time I've ever really had as a Phillies fan. Going to when pitchers and catchers report, you get to see the young guys work out. You get to see the stars come out. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean the goal I had originally was to do this kind of stuff with the Phillies, but they said not right now. So I'm hoping that by doing this work in the minor leagues, which is honestly really fun, you can probably get a lot more access in the minor leagues than you can the major leagues. Like literally sitting in the dugout with the Iron Pigs was crazy. Like I can't even explain how crazy it was to just see Andrew Painter right next to me and Justin Crawford on it. It was just pretty wild. But I hope that some of this experience. What did he say?
Get any swag?
I did not get any swag. Actually, well, I still have my press credential, like the lanyard. And you bet I'll hang that up somewhere. Like that is just like super cool. And I meant to go to the team store. I actually wasn't planning on staying for the entire game just because I had a pretty long drive to get back home. But I ended up sitting next to somebody that works for MLB Pipeline. And we spent quite a while, the entire game, 2.5 hours talking about Phillies prospects around the league, baseball in general, and I had a great time with him. If you're listening, Sam, that was really cool. And if you're listening, Sam from the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, thank you for your hospitality because it was really great, an amazing experience. While I cannot share really anything that Sam from MLB Pipeline told me, that was a pretty cool experience to have as well. So we'll see what happens in the future. I do plan on trying to make a Lakewood trip at some point, or Jersey Shore as they're called now, because that's just the closest affiliate to me. Tait just got promoted actually to Jersey Shore, so that would be an exciting thing to go see and hopefully talk to him.
I am not used to Jersey Shore being above Clearwater still. Clearwater right. For decades. I mean, how long have been that Clearwater was high A. So the whole minor league shakeup, I'm still not used to it.
I still call it low A all the time, even though technically low A doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But minor league stuff always changes. Teams are crazy what's going on there. But thank you all for listening to this. I think I will sign off now, and I will be back with you all. Actually, sooner than later. I'll be back at some point tomorrow with another episode for you. Probably have an episode up tomorrow night, kind of going and talking a little bit about what to expect in the second half, making some over-unders, all that kind of fun stuff. So I will see you all later. And SJ, thank you once again for joining.
Oh, no, I love it. This is awesome. Everyone have a good week. Go Phillies and love you.
See you all soon.